So unemployment numbers remaining low, but is it due to time running out on unemployment benefits and rolling them over to welfare? And once a welfare, people are no longer looking for a job and don't get counted against the unemployment calculation. This is all true. And welfare spending has skyrocketed over the years, and it seems like should be correlated, or is this a nothing burger? So you've opened up a huge can of worms. Everybody needs to know about this because I'm sure it's happening in other parts of the world too. So we have a lot of problems. First of all, the government data can be misleading, and labor stats this week prove that. In fact, I heard Kevin did a video yesterday on this exact thing. I did it on Thursday or Friday, and it was just how ridiculous it all is. But let's dig into one of the fundamental problems. A lot of this has been catalyzed by what happened in March 2020. And this is now some facts. I hope people don't find this offensive. I pulled it from this research shop, and it was published on November 11th, 2021, but it has great data in it. They said welfare now pays better than work for millions of Americans. And it's all about how the new era of expanded welfare programs is keeping Americans from working. So it's kind of a small print there, but if you look at all the states, you can see the actual amount of money you can get by earning government benefits versus minimum wage versus the median wage. And nearly in all states, you are basically better off not working than getting a median wage or minimum wage. Getting minimum wage, most people kind of aren't doing it. Now let's look to another element of your question regarding what happens to people who are long-term unemployed. Again, the Brookings Institute study here, it analyzed data. It's the most current I could get, but from 2008 to 2012. And believe me, it's a lot worse now than it was back then. But those people, after 27 weeks, how long does it take for them to get a job, and how many actually get a job? And even 15 months later, you can see that 64% still don't have a job after 15 months. And those that do get a job, 11% are full-time employed for at least 16 weeks. 14% have been employed for at least 4 months, but 1 month it was only part-time. And 11% had been employed for some, but not all of the time. So one of the problems is the longer somebody is out of work, the harder it is for them to get work and settle back into a workplace. And that's a big problem. And that's an old study, but still very valid today. In addition, regarding benefits, you can see here, food stamps in 2021, 2022 have exploded in terms of cost. And you can see the blue line is the number of people actually getting food stamps is rising fast. In addition, welfare is skyrocketing. This is a study from the Heritage Foundation. Again, November 8th, 2021, where they had the largest welfare increase in U.S. history, which will boost government support to $76,400 per poor family. That is a lot more that you get from earning a medium wage or minimum wage, a ton more. And also, what also happened last year was because of inflation. Last year in 2022, this is from 2021. In 2022, there was also the biggest, or one of the biggest, increases in Social Security to the world too. So let's look at some big numbers here. And this is the total US population on the left. The amount of people living in poverty is the next box. Those on Medicare who are enrolled, Medicaid recipients, Social Security recipients, and food stamp recipients. When you add up just those four last boxes, you get 236 million recipients of benefits. Now remember, some individuals may get two or more benefits, so there's a double counting in there, but I just want to show you how much benefits are being paid, because this goes back to your question where you're dead right. It is becoming much more welfare is being paid out. Now, let's talk about some other numbers that are important. In fact, it's even more egregious when you look at this. You got 39% of people who support 61% of the population. But of that 39% that actually work, 5 million of them actually pay no taxes, which is a problem. So you could construe that each taxpayer has to support about 1.65 people on their salary, because a lot of people aren't working. Let's look at demographics here. in honor of Peter Zeihan. This is the US demographic table right now of today in 2022. And you can see that 57%, i.e., 97 million males and 97 million females of working age are around right there. But the problem is on the left-hand side, there's too few people under 10 years of age to fuel the growth for that big bucket in the middle that's going to be retiring or getting to retirement age soon. And everybody 65 and above, I assume, is retired. I don't consider that working age. They should be playing golf and kayaking and lakes and having fun, a good old time. And that is kind of the demographic bunch that we look at right now. Now, in summary, what all this looks like is this problem. And all this welfare results in a huge amount of deficits, massive unfunded liabilities of $175 trillion, and all sorts of craziness. So if you look at the US debt clock, I'll drop a link below later, debt per citizen is $51,945. But remember, only 38% pay taxes. So they have to pay, if you look at the load per individual, it's 1.365 million. So the outlook is beyond gloomy. It's way beyond the tipping point, and this is why everybody's talking about the Great Reset, because there's no way of escaping this. Money printing will continue to pay the deficits, to pay all the welfare, all the benefits, and there's lots of other structural changes happening, like automation and robots down the line, and people aren't happy with work environment, and everything is expensive now. So people, if they can't get a good paying job, they do need welfare to be able to survive. But all of this, I think, is leading to this very simple little summary here from my mind is one, as the Fed hikes, which is what they're doing now, they're making a stronger US dollar. They're driving much more US debt, which brings about much more higher deficits, which will drive less liquidity, increase in bankruptcy, increase in unemployment, which will drive increase in needed benefits, which will require increased in credit delinquencies, banking credit collapse, the Fed will pivot, print more money, and then we'll get to a Great Reset. So there's no escaping. The Fed are completely boxed in, as I've been saying for years. They can't get out without printing. They can try, stop printing for a little while, and they can jack rates to hammer the economy. But at the end of the day, they're just shooting themselves in the foot. And you look at the welfare numbers, you're dead right. It is just increasing all the time. And if we go back to these numbers here, there's no real incentive to work anymore when you can do a lot better by being on welfare and not working out there.